Yes, people, welcome back to Albert J TV. Through the Southeast London red carpet. Yes, I'm smiling, people. Chelsea nil, Arsenal 1. Come on, you mighty Gunners. Match review time, people. But before we get into it, let's hit the intro. Footballing community, you should know what to do by now. Like, share, and subscribe. Welcome back to Albert J TV. Social media platform. Know what you're talking about. And what I mean by that is goals, ESR and Saka have done well. They've done okay. They've done well. Yes, people, we are live in the Albert J TV household. Another 3 points for the mighty Gunners. Most importantly, people, what I like the most, people, a clean sheet at the bridge. So people, we're gonna get into it. People, as you know, the obligatories, obliterate the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Audio listeners, you will never ever be forgotten because this will go out on the Spotify and the Anchor platforms, and you can hear me and Ray dulcet tones as we dissect Arsenal's victory at the bridge. So yeah, without further ado, I've got a special brother with me joining me for this match review. Ray, welcome back to Albert J TV as we discuss our latest victory. Welcome aboard, bro.
Yes, mate. Thank you again for having me. It's actually a pleasure to be here. When you asked me to come on earlier, I was a little bit worried just in case the result was going to go south and it was going to be a bit of a therapy session. But no, we're here. We're going to celebrate and we're going to talk through it. So let's do it.
Yeah, listen, Ray, man. As I said to you before we came on the stream, man has been very proactive for the last hour, man. Doing a lot of things, but oh, mate. So I was definitely going to do a stream today. I just didn't know what time because there's a lot of football on, and as much as we're Arsenal fans, I do like to watch other football as well to see what's occurring. Particularly at Villa Park. I don't know what the score is now.
Yeah, I see it.
Latest I left it was 2-0 to Villa, but yeah, Ray, let's get into it, man. Geez, as I say to you before, man, I said to many people who sort of been on my podcast or watched them. These games for me, massive with the top 5 teams, however you want to phrase it, with Tottenham, City, Liverpool, Manchester United, and Chelsea. So I think before today, mate, I think I did see the stat. I think we've won 5 out of 50 before today against all those teams away from home. Which is a dreadful record. And that's something I've always wanted Arsenal to get better at and to improve. And I always make the distinction. I say, look, there's no divine right to go and beat these teams, but Arsenal need to start stamping their authority and start being a little bit more competitive and not being out of these games within the first 30, 40 minutes. The last few seasons has got better, and as I mentioned before, we beat Liverpool earlier in the season. That meant a lot to me for a lot of different personal reasons, trust me. But to back it up with this, massive. But yeah, before we sort of get into it, mate, starting lineups. Not so much surprise with Arsenal really in the Premier League because Zinchenko comes back in after a bit of a long layoff. But what was your immediate thoughts sort of running up to the game a day before and obviously this morning?
Yeah, I mean, we had a conversation sort of early this morning, didn't we? And I said I was a little bit nervous going into it, and I couldn't really make up whether it was just match day nerves or whether I thought the result wouldn't have gone our way. But I mean, in terms of the lineup itself, as you say, it was pretty much The only thing is the left back. I wasn't expecting Zinchenko to come in straight away, but he did, and he looks a bit rusty. Yeah, but I think other than that, I think it was a pretty solid lineup, and everyone had a pretty solid game.
Yeah, so no, I'm gonna say to you, sort of, I think for me going into this game, I've actually, to be fair, I've actually this is unlike me really. When in terms of sort of, no disrespect to the teams who beat probably at the lower end of the table or not going to be sort of a fixture in. Going for European football or top 10 finish even possibly. But I said we'd beat Liverpool at the time to be sneaky. I said we'd beat Spurs because our record's very good against Spurs at home.
Yeah.
but obviously coming away to Chelsea, if you look at our record over sort of a 10, 15-year period, it is woeful. But if you're going to take it in a snapshot, as I've mentioned previously, last 2 seasons we've beaten them away at the Bridge. But I think the only issue with the last 2 wins is we were at stages of the season. Right, last season we were going for a top 4 push. Well, was we really in it before that game? I'm not too sure. But and obviously the season before I think we beat them 1-0. Wasn't really any significance to this, but this one, 100% there was.
Hear that.
And and I think as well going into the game, mate, I said Arsenal. I went for an Arsenal 2-1 win. I know Chelsea have got a lot of players missing, injury problems, whatever, but we can only play who's in front of us. But what did you make of the first half? Because for me, quickly, before I come to you, I thought we would control it, and we did. Not seen too much of Chelsea, loads and loads since Potter's taken over, but they looked a little bit toothless to me. Tried to go back to front very quickly, but what did you make of Arsenal in that first half?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I thought we were relatively solid. First 5 minutes, I thought we started really, really well. Other than getting a goal, I thought it was the ideal start.
Yeah.
They did have 1 or 2 chances, Chelsea, and I don't know whether you'd say if it was players in form or different players they might have taken it. I think Havertz had a chance where he went through and could have picked somebody out and done nothing with it really. But other than that, I was very, very pleased with our first half. It was quite frustrating going in their box. I think Jesus had a header that I think he probably should have buried.
Oh, absolutely.
But other than that, it was all sort of very controlled. I don't remember Ramsdale being put under any stress. Everything that was sort of asked was all sort of food and drink for our defenders. And Thomas Partey and Xhaka just absolutely cleaned everything up. So first half without scoring, I thought it was pretty spot on, mate.
Yeah, you see with Chelsea, to be honest, I didn't have a clue what their team lineup would be today, if I'm being honest. Just purely because the injuries and Potter's still trying to kind of find his way, the best way to mold that Chelsea side. But was there anyone like danger-wise? Quickly going for their team, obviously, Azpilicueta played the right back, Chalobah, Silva, centre-back pairings, Cucurella left back, Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho, Mount, Havertz, Uber and Sterling. Any worries going into that? Any problems you thought they might cause us? Before you come in, Ray, sorry. Yeah. I was surprised to see Kovacic on the bench. I was surprised, I must admit.
Yeah, I was, to be fair. I mean, all those players you mentioned are just sort of moments players for me. They can, score goals out of nothing, but they don't really worry me week in, week out. Players like Reece James and Ben Chilwell are really attacking threat for them. So the fact they were out, if they were playing, then those would be players I'd be really worried about. But in terms of what we had to deal with today, no, not really. Like I say, Havertz has his moments. We know what Aubameyang can do, and I'm sure we do. I'm sure we'll touch on that. Sterling, I don't think has clicked since he's gone to Chelsea. I know he's scored a couple of goals early on in his Chelsea reign, but he hasn't really cut it, and he's not finding the same positions that he played at Man City because he's not playing at Man City.
Yeah, he played. I think he played a wing back against Brighton the week before. Sorry. Yeah, but now you know what? The first half, I said this to you before we went live. Like Arsenal, I did expect to control possession and to sort of dominate, and they did. And I think obviously Zinchenko coming back in was key to that because he takes up positions, sort of centrally that occupies their midfield. And I thought we cut through them very, very easily, to be honest. And Chelsea had a big problem. I thought Ben White, actually, to be honest, offensively, did give us quite a bit going forward. And like I said, for me, the frustrating thing was that I was really getting frustrated. Like Arsenal, it was just, it's very rarely that I agree with Jermaine Genius, if I'm being honest with you, but it's just in the final third, we just didn't. It was sloppy at times. Saka was Coming to him, he was a bit off it, but to be honest, I'll give a little bit of credit to Cucurella because I thought he dealt with him pretty well. But yeah, we had one golden chance, man. First half, he touched on it. I mean, I think with Jesus, listen, he does some amazing things for us, and he's got some fantastic qualities. He brings a lot to our side, but that was a big chance, man, on 28 minutes. Come in, bro.
Yeah, I mean, to touch on Saka and Cucurella, that was a really big battle, really key one, I thought, as well. And Saka got in all the positions. It's just for whatever reason, his touch or his final ball was just off today, especially in that first half. But going to that chance, I don't know. I just think, would a Haaland or would a striker really inform, throw himself and bury at it? I think it's almost like Jesus is thinking about it as it's being flashed in. And those sorts of chances, I don't know if you can necessarily think about too much because they do come in so quick. It's all instinctive. You just got to get yourself in the right position, make sure the ball sort of lands on your forehead and guide it in. And like I say, it's a different sort of chance when he's sort of running through and he can think about what he's doing. And I just think a confident striker or a confident Gabriel Jesus, I think he buries that. So yeah, it was a big chance, and it was disappointing to see him. I don't even think he hit the target with it.
No, it's funny because when I saw it in real time, I thought, he's probably the cross was a bit too he's a bit too far. But when I saw the replay, I said, nah, man, this guy should be hitting the target, bro. He should be scoring, man. By hitting the target, he should be scoring.
Yeah,
as a big chance, man. I was thinking, you know what? We ain't really created a lot. We've got the big chance on 28 minutes. I don't really remember there being. I mean, apart from probably the Jesus when he done that mazy run, and Thiago Silva blocked the shot, I don't really recall that many sort of clear-cut opportunities. Actually, I don't think there was, actually, to be fair. But listen, I think the only come in, Ray. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just going to say that I'm probably going to answer my question here, but I just feel like Gabriel Jesus is a different type of striker. So if it was like I mentioned, a Haaland or a Kane or a Ivan Toney or even a Bobby Firmino this season, I feel like they would have buried it, Whereas Jesus is sort of everywhere, isn't he, for us? And I just think a confident player would at least test Mendy in their goal.
But no, well said, Ray. That's true. Yeah, it's listen, goals. Listen, these big games, you don't get many opportunities, man. But I think coming into the second half, I don't know about you. This is my own personal opinion. I actually thought we was pretty sloppy in the start of the second half.
Yeah, I think we was
very. I was even getting, and this wasn't even a case of Ray like being in the first half where we were cutting through them. We was getting into the final third, but we just wasn't getting the shot off or the final pass. But for me, the second half, I just thought we started sloppily generally. Whether that was just some of the passing was just stray, the touches, the link-up play just went away a little bit. And I thought, come on, Arsenal, just get back into sync here because this Chelsea side are not playing well. I don't think like I said, I mentioned before, it's nothing against Graham Potter. They just looked a bit lost, and there was no runners. They got the ball. They didn't stretch us. They didn't cause us any problems. So I thought, you know what? If Arsenal can get into gear in his first 15 minutes of the second half, the game is there for the taking for us to get 3 points. But we had a big chance even before the goal, man. I think if I was Martinelli personally, I think I would have rang Thomas Partey's neck.
I
mean, we don't know what the communication was like in terms of. I mean, it's instinctive. You go for it, or you hear the call from the player behind you. But again, big chance, man.
No, they needed better communication for sure. There was almost like they were running on network-free communication. It was that bad, isn't it? But it just needs a shout from one of them. And in my opinion, I think Thomas Partey just needs to be clearing everything out the way there and making a solid contact. So it happens. It's one of those. It's one of those that will hopefully they can learn from. And we sort of go again with that. But I don't know. I thought it was quite a frustrating game at times. There was a lot of fouls in there, weren't there? The game was broken up. It felt like watching an American football game at times, where it was just stop, start. So yeah, it was up until sort of that chance, really, as you alluded to in that second half. It was just sort of it was all very comfortable possession, but nothing really sort of clear cut going forwards, and that was quite frustrating. I think their back line was all on yellow cards by about an hour as well.
Yes.
And it would have been nice to have seen our players, our forward players, really commit them and give the referee a decision to make, which I don't think they did as such.
So just see, a big RJ pop up in the chat. Tell Uber to apologize.
It's nothing personal.
No, it's true. It's true. Ray, you make a good point. Like, I think this is the thing with Arsenal. We're complaining about it in regards to when I mentioned about in the first half, like, or just generally the season in the Premier League, we started games well, right? For example, and it's just that final pass, because I saw the start. I think Arsenal scored 11 goals within the opening 30 minutes, more than any other Premier League side. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm actually it's a complaint, but it's a good complaint if possible. if it's possible, yeah. But one thing I was saying, Ray, right, and I was cussing during the game. I got to be honest. I'll hold my hands up and say it. Our set pieces from corners was awful.
Yeah.
In the first half, it was terrible. In the second half, it wasn't that much better. And ironically, we get the goal. Not a great corner by Saka, but listen, we scored from a set piece, bruv. I actually think it might have gone in straight from the corner if he hadn't touched it. But I'm glad looking at that still picture we've got on the screen now, people and all their listeners.
What a picture!
Yeah, what it's a beautiful picture, man. Yeah, man, we get the goal. But Ray, listen, I personally think, and you probably agree, I want to hear what your thoughts are. I thought we definitely deserve. We're a better team, personally, for me. Even though there were elements which you mentioned were very scrappy, but I thought we deserved to go 1-0 up. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Up until the goal, I can't really think of too many times that Chelsea caused us lots of problems. I can't think of a save that Ramsdale had to make.
Good point.
And I can't feel of that many chances. I know I talked about the Havertz one earlier, but I can't really think of too many chances other than that they had. And at times I forgot Aubameyang was even playing for them. It was.
You know what? Let's touch on the elephant in the room very quickly, because I want to talk about Arsenal, innit? Actually, I'm not going to choose my words carefully. If I'll be honest with you, this is my platform, so I'll say it.
Say it.
I've seen this season, and RJ will vouch for me in the group chat that I'm in, and one thing I've always been critical of sections of our fan base. It depends when you was born. You can't help it. We were born in the 80s. I was 81 kid, year Tottenham won the FA Cup, unfortunately. But there's too much sentiment with players. Way too much sentiment. If your thoughts are not about the best for the club, then I'm sorry. Like, seriously, go and support another team.
Yeah.
Like, these players had great service and play for us. Yes, we can acknowledge that. Yes, we can respect that. But they're not Arsenal players anymore. Yeah. I'm seeing Arsenal people on Twitter, for example, tweeting about Aubameyang scoring in the Champions League for Chelsea. And I'm thinking to myself, you need to give your head a wobble.
Yeah. And I hear that. I hear it. Yeah. And it's not like he went direct. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Go on, come in, bro. Go on, come in, bro.
I was just going to say, it's not like he went directly from Arsenal to Chelsea when we were in a position of real weakness and really strength for them. He went to Barcelona, had a good 6 months there. We got him off our books, which in the long run was for the best of the club. He was no longer acquired at Barca. Now he plays for Chelsea. That's kind of how I see it. It kind of annoyed me a little bit with the media more than anything else. Yeah, because you can see they're trying to whip up the game and they're trying to make it more of a spectacle. Yeah, it doesn't need it. It's Chelsea Arsenal, Everyone, the whole world is going to be watching. It's the only game on at that time. And 12:30 is a stupid click-up time, by the way. But it doesn't need any sort of drama or anything like that.
It doesn't.
And again, to sort of use this as an example, when Tottenham played Marseille, they made it sound like they were playing our B team, These are players that used to play for us, but were never good enough to play for us, and now they've moved on with their career. You know, Tottenham beat Marseille. They didn't beat Arsenal's reserve team, and it's the same with this. You know, Aubameyang plays for Chelsea, and that's kind of it. We're in a better place now. You know, I would say good luck to him, but he plays for a rival, so you know, thank you for your service. That's kind of how I see it.
Exactly that. So when I'm seeing the way some Arsenal fans carry on, looking, this guy is not the Messiah. I'm sorry, like we've had better footballers at our club. That's not to be anything detrimental against Aubameyang's record, goal score record at Arsenal, or the fact he played in the part us winning the FA Cup, but he's not our player anymore.
Yeah,
like I'm not being funny, mate. But what I saw today, you can sit here and talk about systems till the cows come home. You can talk out your backside as much as you want. What I saw today in regards to his performance is what I saw in his last 12 to 18 months at Arsenal.
For sure.
And if you're telling me as an Arsenal fan you want a player like that at the club, forget David. I'm not even talking about the 500-page dossier that probably Mikel Arteta had on him in regards to his misdemeanors, right? But you saw what you saw today, and come back and tell us that Arsenal not in a better position.
Not a chance.
Look at. Sorry, I'm going to come back to you. Right? Look at Jesus. Yes, he hasn't scored in 9 games now. I think it is, or 19 games, whatever it is. Look at that man's performance, and come back and tell me about Aubameyang. Arsenal fans, seriously, man, let it go, man. Like Elsa said, let it go. Honestly, man.
Seriously. I mean, we saw it with when Lacazette come in and replaced him, and we let Aubameyang go. You know, even Lacazette was an upgrade, and Ketia come in. He was an upgrade when he come in and started scoring goals. Now we got Jesus. He's an upgrade. But I mean, we used to play Aubameyang on the left wing, and you know, if there's an argument to say if he was still there, would Gabriel Martinelli be playing and having the season that he's had? Probably not. You know, so it is a weird one. And like I say, I fully respect the time that he had here and the service that he had. But like I say, it's not that deep. He's not an Arsenal player anymore. He plays for a rival. And I don't want Chelsea to do very well. So therefore, I don't want him to do very well. It's, you know, it's not that deep.
Mate, 100%. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of say that, man. Like, listen, man, I can like players, whether even if they're not even associated with our club. But yeah, man, the sentiment loving for certain man that some of our fans give to certain players, I'm like, I don't get it, Ray. I genuinely don't understand it, particularly when they're not our players anymore. It's crazy to me, and even more so in regards to what Arsenal been doing this season.
Yeah, and I think we really owe Chelsea one, don't we? You know, 100%. For the likes of Gallas, Cech, Willian, David Luiz to an extent, but you know he was all right. But my point is the amount of dross they've given us. You know, we owe them a player like that. So if that happens, you know, what goes around comes around. It'll be fantastic to see. But like I say, you know, I fully respect Aubameyang and what he's done for the club in the past. You know, and then we just move. That's basically it.
Yeah, like RJ said in the chat, and many people said it. Like, listen, Saliba and Gabriel had him in the pocket, man. What did he do? He didn't do nothing to us, mate. He didn't. He didn't cause the game at all. No. But big up Doug in the chat, Liverpool fan. Doug, talk to your man then before the game today. You know, tell them to do the job, man. Do the thing, Doug. Tell them.
Yeah, for about 2 hours today, we're going to be Scousers. So go on, Doug.
But yeah, we get the goal, bruv. We deserved it, man. I don't care what anyone says. We did. We were the better team, and we looked like more threatening. I actually thought for about. I'm interested to know what you think, Ray. I thought for about. When we got the goal, I thought for about maybe 5-10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, I thought that was our best period of that match in terms of an attacking element, because we looked like we were going to get the second, and we had a couple of chances still. So what did you make of that? Did you think the goal improved us a bit more, or?
I think it did. I think it was one of those that before the goal, and again, to not, you know, I don't like don't like agreeing, with Jermaine Genius. But I think they said in commentary, didn't they, that on BT that, you know, it's going to be the first goal was going to be crucial, and really sort of decide things. And you kind of felt like once we scored, Chelsea had to really change up their game plan,
and it played in our favour. Yeah,
it played into our hands. Yeah, and you know, with their back line, I think they were all still on the pitch at that time. They were all on yellow cards. So you know, it was a really sort of good point in the game for us. It's annoying that we couldn't get that second to completely kill it.
Yeah.
But I think we just managed the game pretty well. I think they gave William Saliba man of the match, which I can't really argue too much about. But you know, I thought Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka in particular were fantastic. I thought that all of our defenders were really solid. There he is.
There's the main man. Yeah,
there's the main man.
Yeah, see with Saliba, yeah. Listen, today, man, just class. Like I said, I mentioned it before. He's one of them defenders, Ray. Like, it's very rare you see him go to ground. I don't remember him going to ground at all today, to be honest with you. He just because he's reading the game. Listen, I'm not going to grumble with sort of him being man of the match. He wasn't mine personally. I'll come to mine quickly towards the end of the stream because I'm not going to keep you long. Man wants to have a Sunday roast, man, and some other things as well. But no, let's talk about this game, man. But Saliba was immense again. Partey was proper solid, man. And we had a big chance, bro, on 74 minutes with Erdegaard. Oh man, I just want this guy to not even. I want him to shoot more, obviously, but man, like you take up some good positions, bro. Like, come on, man.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And this is why I enjoy watching this team so much, because they're all young players, Albert. You know, it's not like Martin Odegaard is 34 and this is Martin Odegaard. You know, he's still got a level of his ceiling to reach. And we're just seeing him in stage sort of, I don't know, 4 or 5, where he could get to 7, 8 or 9, you know. And if he can add goals to his game,
100.
Then he will elevate. And it's the same with a lot of our players, you know. They're all so young. That's what we forget. You know, you look at Saka and Martinelli, they're 21, 22, you know? And we're comparing these players to established players that play in the Premier League, like your Man Cities. You know, they've all got established players. I know Haaland is an absolute freak as a youngster, but they've all. Do you know what I mean? They've all got Grealish and Mahrez and whoever else. Same with Tottenham. They've got Son, Kane, Richarlison, who's played in the league for a long time. Chelsea, you know, look at the experience they've got. Manchester United. So we're competing with all these teams, with such a young team, and we're holding our own. And not only are we holding our own, we're actually now, you know, really sort of starting to dominate. And like I say, I just it's annoying with Martin Odegaard, but I don't think this is the final version. I really don't.
No, Ray, good shot. I'm going to come to that, but I was going to take a quick little intro break, people. So don't get scared when you hear a lot of music. It's just a little run into the intro for the channel. And there you have it, people. Subscribe and smash that like button to get them algorithms up. But Ray, you make a very, very good point. And it's crazy because Arsenal started the season a lot better than anyone thought they would in a million years. Let's be honest, right? Any Arsenal fan, don't care if you're a YouTube content creator or you're armchair fan, doesn't matter. We started the season. I didn't think we started the season as well, 100%, but we take it. We take it. We move. But you make a very, very relevant point about the age of this side. And it's not a deflection. And what I mean by that, I'm going to give it a context to it. Is you mentioned about the other teams in the league, and we go back to the sort of the starting age of a lot of the Premier League sides in the best 11s or squads or whatever. Arsenal's is about 24.6, I believe. The likes of your Cities, your Liverpools, your Chelseas are like 27, 28, 29. That's a lot of years to give up in terms of experience and quality and squad depth. It's a very, very, very relevant point. So when I see a lot of the scrutiny that some of the Arsenal players get, two good examples actually off the top of my head: Ben White and Gabriel. Like, these guys Ben White's not even been here 2 calendar years yet. You know, and the scrutiny sometimes they get, it to me, it's a very, very, very unfair within our fan base. I'm not even talking about rival fans, I'm talking about within our fan base.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
these guys are not, they're not ready-made, established Cannavaros and Berezis and these type of defense. Like, it takes time. It's still young guys.
Yeah.
So you know what they're doing well. And like I said, Ray, I've mentioned before in previous streams, in terms of our back line. Now, massive clean sheet. I love clean sheets, Ray. Love them.
Especially at the bridge.
We got another, especially at the bridge. Yeah, man, 100%, bro. Like, so yeah, sometimes Arsenal fans just need to take a step back, man. Bro, I see it. If RJ, if you're in the chat still, I see it. I watch other YouTube content. I see stuff in the comments, bro. I'm like Ben White, for example, he's not part of a malaise of Arsenal defenses in the past before. Like Saliba, Saliba's young, he's had the experience, he's come back to the fold, he's been exceptional. Gabriel's played in the 2, he played in the 3, he's had different centre-back partnerships.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, he gets a bit touch tight. Are we gonna slate him for that? No. Listen, big up Kenny. Ken made the point when he came on my channel on Weekly Surgery 10 days ago. Football changed a lot. Your goalkeepers, your centre-backs having to start passages of play. That wasn't the case of the days with the likes of a Paul McGrath playing the centre-back on Peter Shilton in goal. It didn't happen, bro. Like, times have changed. And people have to take that on board. So come in, bro, if we want to add anything to that.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. I mean, with the age of our squad, like I say, there's still a ceiling. And that's why, you see a game like today, the positives that a Gabriel can have. I know he's error prone, but I do believe he is coachable and you can coach them out of his game. And I believe a Gabriel at 28 or 29 will be different to a Gabriel now who's only sort of 24, 25.
Yeah, good shout.
Do you know what I mean? And
we've tied him down as well.
And we've tied him down as well. And we're so used to watching this team week in, week out that I think we forget the age of our players, Good shout. And this is why I'm so impressed with the Arsenal at the moment, is because we are performing at a very high level. We're getting results like we got today with such a young team with such a high ceiling. So yeah, long may it continue.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Listen, let's go into that World Cup break. Listen, we've got a Carabao Cup game in the week. I might be going to. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. It's a bit difficult to get tickets at Arsenal, Ray. We've had this conversation many a time.
Yeah.
And then we've got Wolves, which has been moved to a Saturday game, which is going to be a 7:45 kickoff. Listen, we're in good shape, mate. We're in good shape. And people got to remember this as well. I don't know if you noticed that unit stat, Ray, but found out. Chelsea hadn't lost a home game in all competitions in 12 games.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah.
Listen, more plaudits for Arsenal. I think that's our third consecutive away win at Stamford Bridge in the league since '74. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And listen, you've had this conversation with me many times. I've banged on about it to RJ in the chat and my people. Listen. You see these games, listen, we've got to beat the likes of the Fulhams, we've got to beat the likes of the Bournemouths and the Brightons. But when we play the Tottenhams and the Cities and Liverpools and the Chelsea, we need to start competing, bro, because there's been too much psychological damage done going away from home. Like I said, mate, before today, 5 in 50 away games. Yeah. That's for a club of our stature and size, and that's not good enough. It's going to take time to get that better, but come in, man. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, exactly. I think I still see the likes of Chelsea, Tottenham, and United still as our main rivals this season. And the fact that United and Spurs have gone there and haven't won, I think it is credit to that performance. Yeah, how many times over the last few seasons have you seen Man City go there and it takes a De Bruyne special from outside the box to win 1-0, and it's a masterclass. And it's a similar sort of performance with us today, I believe. We've gone there as favourites as well.
We did, yeah.
Because you mentioned earlier on about the games in the past that we kind of won them out of nothing. It was a complete surprise. But today was different because we were top or second going into the game. and there was an actual expectation for Arsenal to get a result. You know, the knives would be out if we had have lost or got a disappointing result in that. And we classed it, didn't we? We absolutely aced it.
Ray, you know what, Ray? You make a good point, because I had this conversation with Judges who came on Arsenal Lounge with me. Big up Judges, man. He's probably still at the game. He probably not even at the stadium yet. Probably, who knows? But like, I said to him, as obviously I'm not a season ticket holder. I'm not. So he is, and like your Wave fans, you go to these games and you're out of the game within like 30, 40 minutes. You're getting pummeled, but I said to him, it's a shift change now, because as an Arsenal Wave fan, you're going to these games now with no trepidation, no fear, because you've got the teams giving you something to have hope for, and to turn it around, and to actually go into these games as, like you mentioned, we did go into this game today as favourites. We did. We did. Our form dictates that. Our, goal difference of +20. Ray, this time last season, we've got like goal difference of -1, 2. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's madness, isn't it?
And we're still not taking our chances.
Yeah.
So you understand? So the levels are there. It doesn't lie. But Ray, before we finish up, man, I get sort of your player of the match for you. I mean, you might probably already have said it, but yeah, sort of how big a two-part question really. How big was the win today, and also your player of the match today? Yeah,
I mean, the win today was massive. I mean, any game against Chelsea is massive. They're giving us such a torrid time in the last sort of 10, 15 years. And going to the bridge, I still remember Drogba and Hazard and all these sorts of Wenger's 1000th game. It's just been horrible.
Yeah.
So now to put a collection of 3 results there, 3 wins back to back seasons is great for us.
Yeah, great improvement.
So yeah, it's a massive win. I agree with you, actually. I think it was Thomas Partey. It was probably man of the match, in my opinion.
Played well, really well.
But our centre backs were faultless. Ramsdale was really, really good without having to make any saves that I can really think of. His positioning, and he was always there to get the ball. I don't think he made any sort of rash passes or anything. I think every pass he hit always went to a red shirt. So yeah, I'd probably say Thomas Partey, but shout out to our centre backs and Granit Xhaka as well.
Yeah,
because
listen, mate, there were some candidates today, man. Listen, I couldn't disagree with Jermaine Genius giving it to Saliba. Thomas Partey, especially in the second half, was brilliant. Brilliant. Xhaka was very good as well again today. I mentioned it earlier, and he to me he doesn't get enough credit, and it's Ben White.
Again, Ben White was outstanding.
Brilliant. He did. He's not just good. He puts himself into really, really good possessions defensively. He did last season, to be honest, at centre back, and he's done it this season at right back. And offensively, he's got a lot better. He's got a good understanding with Bukayo Saka on the right there. So that's my shout to be a little bit different. But listen, there's no bad choice between giving it to Saliba or Ben White or Xhaka.
Shout out to Granit Xhaka as well, because the redemption arc continues, isn't it?
Good interview, by the way.
Yeah, amazing. But I mean, at the end of the game there, I think there was an altercation in the corner, wasn't there, with Trevor Chalobah, and then Kovacic come in and shoved him. And I'm sure in recent seasons, Granit Xhaka would be reacting, throwing his hands in or his head in, and potentially having to take an early bath. But you see now he's maturing, and I don't think I've heard that much credit for him in that respect. So yeah, big shout out to him today. He, again, phenomenal, always available, made the right decisions, and in that moment gave us what we needed, and was cool enough to keep his head. And we're keeping 10 men on the pitch, and that's absolutely crucial.
Ray, fantastic point. Discipline is so big in these games, man. You're right. And that little one, I've got to say this, man. I'm not afraid to admit when there's certain players that just really, really just wind you up. and he has been for years. It says that Azpilicueta.
Oh, I hate him.
I saw him in the background, Ray, just getting these 2 pennies in, and I thought, you know what, you're just one of them players. That's what if I was on the pitch, I'm not saying I'd get sent off. I wouldn't do that, but I'd leave one on him smartly, because he just winds me up, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. He's got one of them faces, isn't he?
Yeah, he comes from that era of like the Balaks and the Drogbas and the Terry that used to just get in the referee's ear constantly. But man, you make a good point about the discipline. It's massive in these sort of games, and I'm sure.
Yeah, because I mean, you alluded earlier to the goal difference. It was what, like 20 odd goals better than
plus 20. Yeah, maybe plus 20. Mad.
And I think maybe this time last season, again, I might be wrong, but going into sort of the halfway stage, I think we may have had 2 or 3 sending offs.
Yeah,
I know Xhaka against Man City, Gabriel against Man City.
Yeah. And
I'm sure there was another one as well.
Yeah.
And there was a real issue with Arsenal's discipline, and we just haven't heard that at all this season. And it shows the level of maturity. Again, I bang on about it with a young team. You know, we are progressing, and again, it's just more signs of progress for us.
Yeah, one more question before we go. I just thought of this now. It's kind of, it's not the elephant in the room. It gets mentioned quite a bit now in terms of, dare I say, the worst title challenge. So we're in what's this, game week 15, isn't it? I believe, if I've got that right. So in the Premier League. So
yeah.
So in November, next week be mid-November. Is it too early for you to say that Arsenal are in a title challenge, or would you revisit that question being asked after the World Cup, maybe February?
I think it is too early. And the only reason I say that is because we have to play Man City twice. We have to go to some banana skin games. We've got Tottenham in January. You know, that's a game that, you know, although we always beat them at home, we always struggle away. So that's
awful. Yeah.
So that's a game that we've really got to prove ourselves in. And we've just got to keep our players fit and motivated. And if we can do that, you know, beyond January, and we're still in the conversation, then yeah, by all means, let's have that conversation. But I don't know. I just think we obviously are where we are, and you know, it's fantastic. But yeah, let's just, you know, put the title chat on ice for now. Although it is funny watching Man City lose points and get annoyed, or gain points even, and get annoyed because you know, it's just a position I'm not used to being in.
Yeah, no, it's true. Just got some stats for today's game before we disappear. So yeah, Arsenal 56% possession, 14 shots, but only 2 on target. 6 corners, which weren't great. And you mentioned a point about the fouls. There was a lot there, man. I just see the bottom of the screen. Chelsea 20
Crazy,
fouls, Arsenal 13. Yeah, but listen, we got the job done. Clean sheet, deserve to win the game. Better team in many facets today. We moved to Brighton in the week in the Carabao Cup, and then we've got Wolves next Saturday, and then it'd be World Cup fever time, which I will be doing content, people. I will be doing some stuff over the World Cup, so looking forward to it. But obviously, I'm happy for us to be sitting at the top of the table now and just chilling and have a Sunday.
It's not a bad position to be in, is it? We've been in a lot worse. Let's put it that way.
It's a very good position to be. As Arsenal fans, man, take the W, man. Listen, it's great to win games of football, but it's even better to win big games of football, and that was one today against a London rival. Yeah, against a London rival as well, man. So, Ray, bruv, thank you for joining, man. We got through quite a lot in 43 minutes, man. Jeez, man. But yeah, great to have you on again, man. And tell the people where they can find you, and thanks again, man.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for asking me on, mate. It's been a pleasure, especially when we win as well. It's been a lot easier than it could have been, right? But yeah, if anyone wants to follow me on Twitter, my handle's just there, Ray_Kasim. And yeah, just love talking Arsenal. So yeah, just give me a shout.
There you have it, people. Follow my bro Ray, man. Top gooner. People, as you know, your host even, people. I'm too excited with the win, man. Trust me, man. All I can see is red.
I think the Arsenal women's team were winning as well. So,
yes,
you know,
it's just
win, isn't it?
Yeah, we're doing well on the ladies' front as well, man. Listen. But yeah, people, host Albert J TV. Come and subscribe, come and follow. Like I said, I'll put this out on my audio in a little bit later, or maybe even tomorrow morning. Let me just enjoy, the Sunday of the great win at the Bridge. But yeah, people, obliterate the like button. Thank you for watching on YouTube and Facebook and on the live Twitter feed as well. So people, that is Albert JTV over and out. Match review: Chelsea 0, the mighty Arsenal 1. Over and out, people. Come on, you
Gunners.